All right. Just me today. Solo show. Brandon Walker. Probably the most talent ever accrued here on Pick Central, just in this chair. No, to my right, dressed like Akeem right when he arrived from Zamunda and coming to America, it is Rico Bosco.
This fucking guy. This was a nice gift. KFC gave it to me. No free ads.
No, it's absolutely like Akeem was
back
trying
is
to.
Listen.
He was trying to mix.
Back is a little.
Yeah, it's a good jacket. It's a good jacket. It
Back's
just
a little wild, but great.
if we get you an I Love New York hat, you are Akeem from Zamunda.
All right, fair enough. I don't know.
Which is a great movie to
Movie?
Great movie.
Coming to America.
I haven't seen the full thing.
That seems like a violation.
A little older
Your
than you.
age.
I
don't know.
He needs.
I know about it.
He came to New York and wore a Mets jacket.
They were walking around. They wanted to look like New Yorkers, and they went into one of these gift shops and bought an I Love New York hat and a Mets jacket and like a. Can I see Akeem from Coming to America in his New York outfit? If you can pull that up. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I mean, look at him in the bullpen.
It's a good looking jacket. It's a good looking
Getting
jacket.
loose.
Returning, and I don't know if this means the Mincy Tour is over or if the Mincy Tour is on pause or if the Mincy Tour is simply a way of life from now on. And Mince.
What's up, Brandon? Glad to be back in the studio here, Pick Central. Love seeing all you guys.
Missed you.
How we doing?
How come we didn't applaud Rico's jacket?
Yeah, I mean, I really turned it up a Nola. I did all 4 days of the Zurich, both Pels playoff games, and ended up on Frenchman Street. We had a crawfish bowl. It was we did the thing the last 3 or 4 days, that's for sure.
So how have your travels in Louisiana been? Are you tired? Are you good?
We're good. We're good. Yesterday was a day of rest. I'll say that. The sun, the 4 days in the sun, and then the Pels games didn't start till 8:30 or 9.
I mean, even God took a day of rest
He did.
during creation.
That's a little bit of a stretch, but
He did.
yeah.
So you're saying it's a little bit of a stretch to call you God? A little bit of a stretch. Okay.
I'd say a way big stretch. I'd say a way big stretch, but. Man,
Even the greats have to take a day off.
How was the fucking blender?
Dude, it was it's unreal to see like the Pelicans during the season getting like 5,000 people for games, and it's like one of the worst attendance in the league. And then when it comes to playoffs, it just straight becomes the Superdome. Like Wilbon said yesterday, they get the best home court playoffs right now. It's all NOLA old school rap. It's an insane dance party. It was just nuts in there Friday and Sunday.
Are they all there? Is Master P's obviously
Master P was there.
The Shocker there.
I saw Birdman. It was like hilarious. Bubba Watson was sitting by Master P on Friday night.
Bubba Watson has nothing to do with New Orleans.
No, he was playing the Zurich.
Oh, that's true.
So he was playing the Zurich. I was with Trent and Frankie Friday. Trent went and dapped up Master P. It was just it's an unreal scene, and they've really changed the game day atmosphere.
Truly no limit to what can be accomplished down there.
Apparently so, but they got a shot this series. That was a nice one. They actually moved, Brandon. They had a No Limit concert with Master P and Silk the Shocker and everybody that was supposed to be Friday night, but then the Pels game was Friday, so they moved it to Saturday, and it could be during Game 7.
Amazing about that whole No Limit run back in the late 90s, 97, 98, 99. I was graduating high school right in the height of No Limit. It's so god-awful. Boy, it's bad.
You don't like
terrible
it?
music.
Ghetto D was like one of my favorites.
I had Ghetto D, Bourbons and Cadillacs.
Yeah,
I
love Ghetto D.
You made a Burbs and Lax reference on Twitter.
Yeah, when Trent.
I was probably the only guy that got the reference, but it's awful. God, it's damn. I love Mystical, Silk the Shocker. You go back and try to listen to it. It's not great. Big Ev.
Brandon.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great.
Welcome back.
From what?
Nothing.
Monday night.
Smitty. I predicted yesterday that when the Sixers won, you would be here.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Sixers lost, you would not be here. However, I miscalculated in my mind. I forgot that when the Sixers lose, that's when you get in your fucking bag. I imagine you got a quiver full of arrows, and Doc Rivers is on every single one of them, correct?
No, that's a terroristic threat. But
Well, that was a Tommy gun.
that was that
You hit the 3 and then you do the arrow.
It's like this. Yo.
Right.
I don't-
Also, if you get a save, you can do that too in baseball.
I'm not good at it.
And if you win a 100-meter race, you can do the arrow.
Yeah.
Although he shot his straight up in the sky, right?
His was more. He must have almost like a Zeus pose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he didn't do an arrow too?
It was more like
His was more of a point, wasn't it?
It was more
Yeah.
like a statue pose.
Well, let's start there. the NBA playoffs has one colossally disappointing team that got swept, but it also has another team that is on the verge of perhaps even topping that disappointment. Up 3-0, a Joel Embiid buzzer beater to win it. Everybody's living right. Even when everybody was happy, you were like, we still have Doc Rivers. You lose one game, fine, and then last night, it's never in the game, never in control.
Yeah, welcome to Docville.
In a closeout opportunity at home, now you gotta go back north.
Right now,
I mean, you guys
now you're living dangerously.
You guys are blowing all the Doc dicks.
None of us have said anything good.
Games 1 and 2.
And they were winning?
They were winning, and they look like NBA champions. They could have beaten the 90s Bulls, the 80s
That was
Lakers.
Marty Mush mostly.
I mean, I said yes, they're playing great. If they can maintain this level of sustainability, they would win the NBA championship this year. And then I said there's no way fucking possible they're going to be able to do that. I watched pretty much every game this season, every game last year, in which led to them just getting absolutely waxed by the less talented Atlanta Hawks. I will never, ever get my hopes up in that fashion again when Doc Rivers is on the bench. I didn't think they would have a possibility of losing after being up 3-0. I mean, that's literally historic. But here we are. There's a possibility of that.
When do you think it turned for Doc? Because from good coach to
see, but that's the presumption of him for people who don't watch.
I feel like that Clippers-Rockets series when they're up 3-1 that time. Remember when Josh Smith went off?
He's historically
that was their big hyped up Chris Paul and Blake, and I felt like that's when it turned.
You're the one that welcomed him back.
I love Ben Mitz. He's historically been quite possibly the most overrated coach of all time in any sport. You look back to his days with the Magic, his Celtics teams, which he won a championship, yes, with 3 Hall of Famers starting. He was also up 3-2 in a series against the Lakers to win another championship with them. The Lakers closeout series have been abysmal, or excuse me, the Clippers. He's 3-11 in closeout games since 2015. I don't even know how that's fucking possible. He has, I think, 8 or 9 series which he's been up at least 3-2, if not 2-0, 3-1, which he's lost. And if he loses this series, it would be his magnum opus. Granted, the players still need to play. James Harden needs to shoot more than 11 shots in the game. Embiid's hurt, but he needs to put more of an MVP effort out there because we got to ride a sack to let it go. Matisse Thybulle needs to do something other than going 1 for 6, and which is one literally was tapped in by a Raptors player. It's a tough time right now. And I want to be optimistic as they are up 3-0, but the series against the Hawks last year makes me not want to get my hopes up.
First of all, ridiculous how you said magnum opus. Second, if he were to lose...
I think we doing the inside joke with KFC?
Don't worry about it.
My bad.
Brandy just started reading Barstool last week.
Yeah,
that's my fault then. That's an old Barstool thing? My bad. Sorry.
I pulled one of those yesterday.
You might as well.
Barstool history started April 10th, 2019.
Might as well move on.
April 10th, 2019. That's when Barstool history started. So if he were to lose this one, though, this isn't. You don't come back from this.
Oh, no,
this is an all-time. This is an all-time. Not only is it an all-time for Doc Rivers, it's all-time for basketball. This would be an all-time collapse. And right now, with a hurt Embiid who only gives you 20 points, I mean, fair or not, he has to on this team, he has to score more than 20.
It shouldn't even matter. The Raptors are a less talented team objectively. Yes, they have a better coach. Yes, they have a couple fine players. Fred VanVleet, he's an all-star. He's out. He was out, and they still got waxed. It shouldn't come down to this consistently. And if they 1-4, great. You're not really expecting a sweep. They 1-5. They kind of needed to get a rest, get Harden's sea legs out from under them, get fucking Embiid healthy. But now it's going 6-7. Even if they do win this series, like you got the Heat, you're probably going to get swept by the Celtics if you beat the Heat. Like, what's the point?
Here's the thing about James Harden. I don't know if I've ever seen a player change for the worse as much as James Harden. I don't think he's gotten worse as a basketball player, but something changed inside of him at some point.
He's aged.
He's aged, sure, and maybe he doesn't get the preferential treatment he used to get. But I think we saw it last year with the Nets when Durant was putting the Nets on his back. Harden was dribbling the ball up the court, giving it to Durant, and running. He was getting the fuck away from the fire. He was, here, it's on you. And now, in this situation, he's taking a – imagine a world where James Harden of 2015 takes 11 fucking shots in a game. 11 shots in a game. Like, that's a guy that doesn't want to be involved. You have 5 starters. He was 4th in shots among your starters.
Yeah.
That can't happen. And if you trade for the guy,
Look,
you're not trading for a guy to take 11 shots. You're not trading for a guy to take a back seat.
Look, he's not the step back drainer that he was, when he was winning scoring titles. That's for sure.
But he could be a spot up guy at least.
Oh yeah, of course. He's still one of the best passers in the game, and if the Sixers are getting open shots, they're just not hitting them. Yes, Harden should be more of a prolific scorer based on who he is, what he's getting paid, and if he wants that max contract next, which I'll be honest with you, Ronan and I talked about it for the first time in a long time. The Sixers might not bring him back next year.
I don't know that if they lose this series, why the fuck would you?
Well, that's the question I have as far as can you win? Is this a guy you can win with?
Exactly.
With his makeup? He leaves the Rockets, kind of quits on the Rockets with that whole thing, kind of leaves the net or leaves the Nets, not perform with the Sixers. At what point do you go, you know what? This guy is not the catalyst.
Maybe it was just a straight salary dump with, getting an expired contract, getting rid of Ben Simmons, and just starting fresh because this is the maximum that you're going to get. You might as well try.
Well, you can say that now, but the Sixers did invest on him to be the guy to win.
Exactly, but if this is the maximum that you're going to get.
You know where you lost it, though? I don't think you lost it with Embiid, although your MVP has to score more than 20 points, hurt or not.
You lost it when they fired Sam Hinkie.
I don't know if you lost it with Harden. I think you lost. I mean, Maxey and Harris, who for better or worse have to step up. Maxey has shown the ability to step up. They combined to miss 19 shots.
Yeah, it's bad. They went 8+ minutes yesterday in the second quarter, which they only scored, 13, 14 points, in which they didn't score a point. You can't do that. You can't do that against a Raptors team which it is beaten up and is just much less talented than you. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
They might lose the series.
No, they
You think
they're up 3. They're up 3-2. But
going to Toronto.
If they don't win 6, first of all, you're leaving Doc in Canada. He can't coach Game 7. He'll coach, but leave Doc in fucking Canada. That's embarrassing. They plus 550. I mean, it's
what you said this morning.
What was it after 3-0?
Oh, I mean, it
plus
could have
2,000.
I saw someone because I tweeted about it. I played it myself.
You took it?
Yeah, today. Well, no, not. I took it today.
Say, damn.
After post game 5, but someone said post game 3 it was 30-1.
I mean, that makes sense.
Obviously,
It
I
should've been-
went 3-0.
We haven't had a 3-0 in the NBA, correct?
No, we haven't
No,
had 3-0.
never.
I know we had I remember Sean Kemp laying there with the ball when they beat the Nuggets. You're old enough to.
Yeah,
You got that
in a
entirely,
5 game.
You got that entirely wrong.
It was the Nuggets.
Nuggets beat the
and it
Sonics.
was the
3
Kembe
out of 5.
Mutombo.
Kembe Mutombo.
Yeah.
It was 3 out of 5.
All right, it was a long time ago. It was 5.
And of course, they're going to lose 7 because, as I explained, first time, long time. This weekend is my wife and child. They have the same birthday. The kids won. We're having a party for Sunday. And the wife, she's having a historic birthday. We're having that party on Saturday. So naturally, Game 7 is on Saturday, right during the party. I'm going to have to do a jackass Twitter space live, go through all of that happy horse shit, probably get divorced. And then on Sunday, during my son's first birthday, we're hiring a balloon twister, just get them to make me a noose and fucking end it all.
Well, at least
Thank you very much, Doc Rivers.
At least you have your weekend planned out.
Yeah.
You don't have to really put much thought into that.
Eventful Sunday.
Fucking balloon maker.
But as it is weird,
I had to talk. I had to convince the moon bounce and the magicians probably was a tad too much for the number 1 birthday party.
It is. Yes, it is crazy that. By the way, the one mistake I made on my son's first birthday, Tommy's first birthday, you got to realize they really still don't know what's going on. And we brought out Tommy's cake, and we had one candle on it, and we lit it, and he said, "Here, Tommy, blow it out." And he just takes his hand and just grabs the top of that candle, and burned himself, obviously.
Oh.
But it was like,
Learn.
yeah, he learned. He learned quick. But the adults have to learn.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't give a shit.
No.
The kid's not going to give a shit. Anyway.
Let me address something in the chat real quick. Smitty acted like Harden was the second coming of Christ and the Sixers couldn't lose a championship.
I don't think he did that at all.
No, not at all. I was
He's been
happy.
the voice of doom the whole
I
time.
was happy to get rid of Ben Simmons' contract and get any sort of value for it. I mean, fucking A.
I think they're just
And-
not to that. There was a moment the first 2 games where
Well, last week,
Yeah, they look
got-
great.
Got really excited, but
They look great.
Marty Mush was leading the charge, saying they're going to win the championship. You were a little bit right there with him, or was it you? It was you.
No,
Look at his face. It was him. It was him.
No, Smitty remembers because
No, it wasn't me.
Tommy said
I'm laughing that you're riling people up for Marty. It wasn't
Tommy
me.
and Marty were like they're gonna win the finals. I was like,
It was Tommy Smokes. That's right.
I was like, uh-uh.
Yeah. And I was like, they're playing good, but no, come on, just relax. There's a lot of good teams.
They were shooting above 50% from three.
Well, that wasn't sustainable, but to the level that wasn't sustainable, you didn't expect it to go this. I mean, this drop off. Yeah. Getting beat by 15 at home in a closeout game is crazy. And never having a chance, never being in
there,
it.
like arguably best player / second best player.
Yeah,
watch the Hawks game or Hawks.
I mean, that was just gutless last night.
Yeah,
the Boo Bird, that halftime.
I mean, if they
when they walked off,
and people are saying, "Oh, you're blaming the coach for not getting professional players all riled up for a closeout game." Motherfucker, how many series is Doc Rivers going to lose in his career in which they're closeout games? Like there's only one common factor here. Yes, the Sixers need to play better. They need to step up. They need to fucking be somebody. But holy shit, when you're up in a series 3-0, 3-1, and now 3-2, and you're worried like this much, there's a fucking issue, and there's one common factor in all of it, and it's Doc Rivers.
I will say in Smitty's defense, last week, I believe it was last week, or the week, last week, you came on and listed out the Doc Rivers like playoff collapses. It's actually like stunning when you read it out loud. It must have been 10 times that he blew like 2-game leads in playoffs. It was shocking.
As gutless as
I mean, certain guys get a pay. Like you just think, Doc Rivers, good coach. You
want a title?
Yeah, like
it was remarkable. Maybe even more than 10. It was insane the amount of leads he had blown in.
No, we blogged it last year, 2003. Doc's Magic versus the Pistons, up 3-1, lost. 2009, Doc Celtics versus the Magic, up 3-2. 2010, Celtics versus Lakers, up 3-2 in the NBA Finals, lost. 2012, Celtics up against the Heat, 3-2, loss. 2015, Clippers up against the Rockets, 3-1, loss. 2016, Clippers up against Portland, 2-0, loss. 2020, Clippers up against Nuggets, 3-1. And then last year you had up against the Hawks in Game 4, up 18, loss, up 26 in the third quarter, a Game 5, loss.
Didn't that Clippers-Rockets one, that famous one, didn't that also in Game 5 when it was 3-1, wasn't there also like a 25-point comeback or something? Like
that was Game 6. It was Game 6. The Clippers were up huge, and then Josh Smith just went completely nuts in that fourth quarter, and then the Rockets just buried them in Game 7. It wasn't even a game.
And I argued against Coley Mick and people in L.A. who were railing Doc and were proud that he left. I was on Rico's mind thought process where, he is a great coach. Let's get someone in here established that's, the opposite of Brett Brown, see what we can do. But after watching it and seeing these collapses and just not that it happens, how it happens, it's like the same shit every time. It's a definition of insanity. And to be that condescending to his own players in the end, like...
He still will get a
sucks.
job. Like he'll
always have a job. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like
if he blows this one, it could be it.
No.
I don't think
somebody will hire.
Even NBA is a fucking revolving
they are
board.
They are hiring more young guys now, though.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Getting away
bad teams.
I just feel like eventually, like people will start to what he just ratted off. I think people will start to eventually like.
You think the Hornets wouldn't hire Doc Rivers tomorrow? To
He's not the youngest cat either.
But the NBA continues to cycle. Like Lenny Wilkins was he retired the all-time winningest coach. He never won anything important. He just was around forever on different teams.
Both Van Gundy's.
Don Nelson was always in jobs.
Yeah, there's.
I guess I'm just good God. I mean, how many times you got to flop to just?
I agree.
Well, but that's the thing. You call it a flop, but he's still getting them in a position to pull those leads.
Mike D'Antoni. How many jobs did Mike D'Antoni get after not being?
Oh, he'll still get the next Sixers one.
Yeah,
and it will be in the same fucking place.
I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but if you do lose it in 7, I know there's a guy who just entered retirement from the Philly area that I'm sure people will be clamoring to bring through.
He could have had that job at any point over the last 10 years.
Okay, all right. So as gutless as that was last night, I don't even know that it's the most gutless performance we've seen in the playoffs. The Nets have Kevin Durant. The Nets have Kyrie Irving. The Nets have so much going on for them. And the Celtics, the dog-ass Celtics, just walked in there tough as shit and just stole their lunch money and swept their ass. And now, as much as you question Doc Rivers, I think you can start questioning Kevin Durant. I think you can question Durant as the guy. You certainly question Kyrie Irving because that motherfucker's crazy. And
yeah, I don't put the blame on Durant.
Durant was great last night. He was fine last night, but the first 3 games he was not very good.
Let's give a little credit to the Celtics defense. First off,
the Celtics get after your ass.
I was wrong about the Nets.
Yeah.
End up. the NBA did have the interest of the Nets winning that game. I still stand by
they sent
that.
Scott Foster.
Of course, they shot 29 free throws, missed 12.
Yeah.
The entire series was decided by
Claxton. Oh my God.
the entire series was decided by 16 points.
Yeah,
That's right there.
but that's
Besides,
4
that's
close
why-
games, and
Without a
toughness
doubt.
wins
Without a
those.
doubt. I
Yeah.
thought they would win one. I thought they would win one game. I really did. And last night it looked like they were supposed to. The 6th foul on Tatum, the offensive, was a joke. Like they were there to get that to 5, and the Nets are so gutless they couldn't even get a hand-delivered gift to 5.
Okay, so Kevin Durant loses the series. He gets swept. And then this morning he's like on Instagram and he's taking shots at Charles Barkley for taking shots at him being a ring chaser, and he puts out pictures of Barkley being with the Rockets and everything. Like, I feel like Kevin Durant gets a big media pass. Like, imagine LeBron James doing that. If LeBron James did that, this entire office would explode. And Kevin Durant does these things.
Durant has admitted to doing it.
Yeah,
Well, that's fine, but he still does it.
with Durant, I think it's consistent.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I think
What does that matter? What does that mean?
I mean, it means that it's just what
He's consistently getting swept and still acting like an asshole on social media?
Well, I wouldn't say it's acting like an asshole.
He admitted he has burner accounts.
I'm saying it's consistent with his online behavior.
But why?
It's not like I'm not surprised by it.
Don't you feel like he gets a pass for this from the greater populace?
What would you define as a pass? I think it's like, it's just KD doing his thing.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
That's what I mean by consistent. Like he just does this.
That being
online.
said,
He owns up to it.
he's the number 1 guy on a team that just got swept in the first round of the playoffs.
Absolutely.
How many rings does he have?
Yes, 2, and he was a passenger for both.
One comment I have.
So it's hard. Like he was the best player on both of them, but
I don't. Maybe one of them. The one finals he took over,
he was
but
the closer.
I mean, Steph fucking Curry was on the team.
No, listen, he joined a team that already a core that won a
Right.
championship. He was the best player.
He joined a team that won 73 games in the regular.
100%. He was the best player on both teams, but But I can just understand where he sees a guy like Barkley talking shit and he takes it personal. Where he's like, "You did the same thing and you still couldn't win."
Right.
So I just more like
Barkley was traded.
Right, correct.
But I mean, I could see where people get all like say for example, like you could say something about the first Celtics team, like they kind of started before even like LeBron did. So I could see KD just being like as a pro basketball player to like pro basketball player, like 2 all-timers being like, don't throw stones from a glass house.
This generation, or the last generation throwing stones at this generation for super teams and chasing rings and all that, it has always fucking happened. The only difference in the last generation was Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson all got drafted to franchises that knew what the fuck they were doing and built super teams around the guys they drafted. They built, Larry Bird had super teams built around him. Magic Johnson was drafted to a team that already had Kareem and was able to build a super team around him. And Michael Jordan had a super team built around him. Not as much as the other 2 guys, but they didn't have to do it.
Shaq, Lakers, Shaq.
This group had to do it. And Shaq went from Orlando to L.A. Like, he went chasing.
He chased the bag.
He did. The bag and the rings. Yeah. But this whole thing about that last generation judging this generation is bullshit. And I lived through I'm a last generation guy, but it's all fucking bullshit. Anyway,
it's a fair point. If Jordan was drafted by the Clippers, as good as he is, you're saying he doesn't like what?
By 1988, he's demanding a trade.
Right. What percentage do you say he finishes his career? 2%, 10%?
With the Clippers,
0.0.
Okay, right. All right.
He's drafted by the Bucks.
I had never heard that being phrased that way. You're right. The Celtics also, ton of people. It's old, but Auerbach knew enough to go get Kevin McHale for Barry Carroll in that steal of a trade. You're right. And, maybe Bird doesn't do it. We're watching this unfold with the documentary with the Lakers. Like, 3 franchises who know what they're doing. I hadn't heard it phrased that way. You're right.
Yeah.
Plus, last generation to this generation, some of the things, kind of do, hold water a little bit. Like when Shaq talks about Ben Simmons. Like, that holds.
Oh no, that holds water. But that's Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. Like, the Ben Simmons is an outlier. There were guys back then that for different reasons just couldn't get right. Like J.R. Rider was an insanely talented player, would never show up at practice on time. Was always got about 10% out of his career what he should have gotten out of it. Even back then people were hating on Iverson for the practice shit and all that. So like, there's always guys that have their issues. Simmons is on the extreme end of the issue. Like,
I think there's a call-out factor that's disappeared, though, too. It's like a lot of these guys don't want to call out Ben Simmons from teams because in a year they're going to go get him. Or he's going to, Harden, like they call Harden a lazy piece of shit. In a year, now he's on your team, and now what do you do when they dip? Like, I think back in the day people were calling each other out for their bull phrase where it's like, I'm going to play with him in the Olympics. I'm going to go, he's going to trade with him here and this and that. Like, they're not really ruffling feathers.
Michael Jordan openly and outwardly hated Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
Isaiah Thomas, after a playoff series, said if Larry Bird were black, he'd be just another guy. They used to say shit about each other that would break the internet now if it happened. And now guys are careful with each other. Now guys, and that might be the banana boat stuff, the buddy stuff that didn't exist back then. But
I watched in the documentary, Johnson and Bird do a commercial shoot. And
it's the first time they ever talked.
They go up there. Yeah, it's the first time they talked. And Larry opens his house to him.
Yeah.
And Johnson is like, all right, great. Like this is good now. Like all this shit we're friends. And then like the next year when he saw him, it was just like a fist pump and nothing more.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I opened my house to you, but like we're still we're not going to be fully friends.
I mean,
like,
it's different now. The money is extreme.
I mean, they did it in the new episode this week. Where
Yes.
Dr. J, he takes Magic out to dinner, spoils him out, and then just slits his fucking throat in the game. And he has his worst game of the season, and then he invites him out for dinner after Magic's like, I'm good.
But also,
this was
And
the
Wes literally
HBO
has a sit down with him, like he's fucking set you
They've
up.
done a million Magic Birds. This was
Yeah.
the HBO one like 10 years ago.
but also, like you see it through like AAU ball or like ref and CYO. These kids grow up together now.
But the Nets are an extreme example. I mentioned Durant, but Durant is nothing to worry about. Durant's a great player. But Kyrie Irving is a guy that drama follows constantly, no matter where he is.
It's batshit.
In Cleveland, in Boston, and now in Brooklyn. And after the game, he's like, they're asking him, what's the problem? And he's like, well, me and Kevin Durant are just going to be the GMs of this team. That's what we came here for, and we're going to fix this. And like, no, I don't think you're the decision. I don't think anybody should be leaning towards you as a decision maker.
He self-proclaimed that he was the GM.
Right,
It was
him and
crazy.
he's like, we're gonna,
From an outsider observer, that's all.
I mean, you're fucking batshit crazy.
So what are their contracts? Like, can he leave?
I don't know what their contracts are. I don't think either one of them are in a position to leave. And then of
Durant,
course,
definitely not. Durant got like a big max.
And of course
Remember
you
they
have
paid
Ben
him
Simmons.
before even the year he missed with the Achilles. They gave him that big max before that.
I mean, Ben Simmons, it was reported he's going to play in Game 4, and then there's the back issues.
Ben Simmons will be a Laker this time.
And then it gets reported that he does have back issues, but it's mental too, and he's still taking mental time out.
They will be requesting a trade in 4 months.
The Lakers?
And they would say the Lakers would be preferred because his house is there, and that's where the best mental treatment.
Well, yes.
Kyrie has a player option next year.
That's what I was
Durant's
thinking
under
about.
contract till 2026.
Yeah, Durant's locked out. I mean,
So Kyrie could leave now.
I almost hope you wish he does.
who's signing up? Who's signing up for the Kyrie experience right now?
I don't.
Who's out there saying, you know what, I need a moody, unreliable point guard that may or may not
Probably
help me win playoff
I
games?
would have
Probably
said
a
that
sim-
Nick
Show up and make a run to the championship. And the Nets thing all year is so dysfunctional, and it shows there actually is value in continuity.
Well, here's the thing. After Game 1,
Oh, that's right.
when Tatum won on a layup, did anybody think this was going to be? I mean, I thought it was going to be 7. I thought it was going to
We
be.
all
We're
walked in
gonna get
here
a
and was like,
classic.
yeah, it's still going 7. It's still going 7.
Here's the number one thing that I wanted to talk about today. All the conversation about this series is about the Nets. Why isn't it about the fucking Celtics?
That's the world we live in.
I understand
First
that,
take,
but
pick Central,
going forward,
That's the way the Celtics won it,
Gap
too.
and head.
Going forward-
you're no better than Skip Bayless.
this is a team. I mean, Tatum can score. They got several guys that can score. They all know their roles, and they're fucking junkyard dogs, man.
Here's a
They
hypothetical.
get the fuck after you.
The layup doesn't go in. The Nets steal Game 1. Does it still go 5?
I think that changes everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes everything. Like you said, 16 points decided the whole thing.
Okay.
I mean, if the
Nets.
Nets,
I guess that's my question. It's an unanswerable question. But like, are the Nets so fucked up that they still would have lost 4 in a row?
It's
Whatever.
possible, but momentum's is a weird thing in sports. If you get that one, then you don't have the monkey on your back, and you can figure it out. But like going forward, shit, the Celtics Bucks is
It's gonna be great.
that's going to be awesome.
I mean, it almost felt like a changing of a guard type, where it was like KD, Kyrie, they were not the best players in the court. Jason Tatum was the best player on the court.
So
I mean, even like last in that,
so good.
like he was on fire, just dominating.
And he
the game.
defends.
He the whole series, he put Durant in his back pocket.
Yeah.
There's something about playoff arenas too. I guess even in the last 15 years, I got a lot of friends from Boston, Celtics. I mean, playoff games at Boston have something that is a casual fan. You're like, all right, great. You know what I mean? Like that arena, I want to watch
That's
there.
definitely true.
Yeah, Golden State's obviously there too. Like I like watching in that arena.
Yeah. I think Phoenix also has a little bit of that.
Phoenix has
If you remember
great
last year.
fans, obviously, and a great, like they're guarded in the league of like all the shit they do in between timeouts and stuff like their game presentation. The mascot was the best. The fucking gorilla, he was the best.
So tonight we have 2 gigantic games. We have the Heat probably closing out the Hawks. Let's put that one aside. But then you have 2 Western Conference series that are both tied at 2. Some injury issues, but you got the Wolves plus 6.5 against the Grizzlies, Pelicans plus 6.5 against the Suns. I don't really see a world where an injured Suns team should be 6.5-point favorites over the Pelicans right now, because the Pelicans are, they're right in this mix. I feel like both these numbers are too big.
See, for me, my brain was going like contrarian, like they're big because they're gonna win. I was working through it this morning because
What about the Suns recently without Booker? Do you think they can blow the Pelicans out? And a 10-point victory in the playoff is not blowing them out, but it's getting close.
My thing on the Suns is Chris Paul completely took over the fourth quarters in games 1 and 3. I mean, completely. Game 4, he had 4 points. He looked tired. He's 37 years old. Each game now is only 1 day of rest. I'm not saying that they're dead by any means, but I do think that's a factor, because what's really hurt the Suns since Booker's been out, I thought Cam Johnson or Bridges or somebody would step up and help the scoring load, and nobody has other than Ayton at all. And so they're asking a whole lot of him, and the Pelicans got a ton of momentum. They also have Herb Jones and Jose Alvarado who are picking him up full court.
They beat his ass up.
They're putting so much pressure on him. Look, I feel like Pel's got a really good shot. They got a lot of momentum, and then Willie Green, being Monty Williams' top assistant in Phoenix last year, I think he knows a ton about the Suns, and I think that's an underrated factor in the series.
Like that.
For me, it was just when I saw the lines, I just was like, wow, these are both like big. I think I agree in the sense that I think if I was I'd feel better laying it with the Grizzlies than I would with the Suns for sure.
Plus, it helps. Like, I know he's missed shots throughout his series, but every time I flip on the screen, Brandon Ingram hasn't missed a shot.
He's had over 30 last.
He just hasn't.
This is the first playoff.
Possible shots too.
Yeah, the first playoff of his career. I think he has like 119 points the first 4 games. It's up there with like
he's making shit that makes me think he's the greatest basketball.
His mid-range game, he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
He's not the best 3-point shooter, but his mid-range
he's
game.
making fadeaway threes. The shot clock's going down. Like it's.
Oh, I didn't realize this. He scored 18 in game 1. Bad shooting night. And then he scored 37, 34, and 30.
Dude, his game 2, fourth quarter, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, in game 2.
Third quarter of game 4, he went he had 16 in the third. He pulled away the Sunday night.
In game 2, he had 37, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. I didn't realize he had that in his bag.
No, he's got like sneaky superstar potential.
Oh no, he does. He does. I mean,
even coming out of the drafts.
Yeah, there's a reason when they did that deal. I mean, he was a key part of that deal for
Finally got him help with McCollum too, because like earlier in the year when Zion was out, Ingram was like the only big time scorer. They had a bunch of defenders and role players, but now that they have CJ, they can't totally just double Ingram, and it's helped out. His over/under's up to 27.5 tonight.
You mentioned something interesting there, and I think it's one of the underrated things in basketball right now. You mentioned defenders and role players. If you can get you 2 solid scorers, 2 guys you can just trust. If you can get Tatum and Jaylen Brown, if you can get like you said, Ingram and McCollum, and then you have an elite set of defenders and role players, you got a chance of playoff success. Like I feel like that's kind of the Bucks model. I think
still need
Celtics
to be able to hit open shots.
Need to be able to hit open shots. Yeah, your defenders and role players need to be able to hit open corner threes. They need to be able to hit free throws. They need to be able to do certain things. But if you have 2 guys that you can just depend on offensively, and then you got a bunch of dogs. I mean, I think that's what the NBA is right now. I don't think it's star driven like the Nets. I think it's.
With the Celtics, too, I mean, you got 2 scorers that are both dogs on defense.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, Tatum play defense.
Yeah,
they both give you 20 a night.
I'll be honest, the way the Celtics are playing right now, they're winning the championship.
They got a good shot to at least go to the finals for sure.
Like they're
playing the best.
They're playing with that it factor.
And I know the Middleton's a big question mark, but the Bucks are going to have a lot to say about that. I mean, the Bucks have the title in their pocket. Like the Bucks are going to play like a champ.
Yeah. But if the Celtics are playing the way they're playing right now, and the way they have been since January, like.
But you talk about that mental thing. They were able to break the Nets. I don't think they can break the Bucks. I don't think they can break the Bucks.
No, not like.
I wonder who's going to be favored that series.
I
think the Bucks will be slightly favored.
I would say if Middleton's healthy, yes.
But I don't think he's going to be healthy.
I
think we're still a week and a half to a week of him being out. We'll see.
What is your most desired NBA Finals?
I think
fandom aside.
I think from a who will watch the most, I think you almost need the.
That's not what I meant.
Celtics.
Which one do
Warriors.
you, when you say, "Oh, it's a great NBA Finals" in your own head?
I want
Go Gonzaga, Baylor. Go against whatever.
All right, so I won't. It sounds like a cop out. It sounds like a bitch made thing. I want the Suns and Bucks to run it back. That was outstanding last year.
It's fine.
I kind of want Suns and Bucks to run it
You
back.
want
I'd like to see Golden State and the Bucks. Just because Golden State with Steph and Clay had all those great teams. Then Giannis won it last year.
Yeah.
Star power.
Celtics being in would be awesome too.
I think Celtics Warriors. I think
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
Celtics Warriors.
I think that's both of you guys' desired pick, and if you poll the nation, and that's the most watchable
It's a
series.
fascinating
Without a doubt.
series.
That's going to do numbers.
I just feel like my brain has computed seeing them on the court together either. It's a weird
two completely different teams.
it just be fascinating watch.
We talked about that too. A little bit of pressure too. Like Curry, we talk about his legacy. Like, yeah, he did win 2, but he won them with Durant. Like, this is almost
He won
like
one without Durant too, though. The first one
They got 3. The
got
core
three.
He
is
got 3. All right, yeah,
They
he's
beat
got
the-
3
and then
two
the
with Durant.
73
You're right. I'm
years,
sorry.
They blew the
Another one now puts him like in a pantheon. Like,
So when Steven stepped aside in Boston, and it felt like the Danny Ainge thing kind of didn't work, nobody saw this coming. Did you see that? Did any of you see this coming?
Especially the
I
way
mean,
they
not to
started.
this
I thought they were.
still
I
think
thought they were
that's-
punting on it. I thought they were saying, you know what, didn't work.
I didn't think Tatum was this good, and as well as like Marcus Smart being Defensive Player of the
Oh,
Year,
he's-
and Jalen
Brown's
Brown's
awesome.
being like a borderline. So Al Horford's having a fucking career year.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for them to have gelled the way they have. And credit to the entire organization. Top to bottom. Can you believe Andre Iguodala's still playing?
Playing well too. Like good minutes off the bench.
He was fucking taking alley-oops from Iverson in like 2008.
Iguodala's had a hell of a career.
You know how much money he's made? He's probably made close to $500 million playing basketball.
Who, Iguodala?
$250 million.
I bet close.
He's
to
made
that.
$250
I
million?
bet 200. I bet close to 200.
Let's get let's all get a guess there.
We go
Two-
215.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
225.
I'm gonna say how many? I'm gonna
Is
say
he
I'll
signed?
say 250 flat.
I'm gonna say 197.
I'm gonna say 230. Career.
182.
God damn it, Za.
Closest.
Fuck.
Thank you, Za.
Not bad.
Thanks,
Appreciate that, Za.
good run.
I'll never fucking do that again. But thank you.
Still no reason why he's out there trying still.
Also, that he
He's
won.
not like border. Is
I
he
still-
borderline Hall of Fame?
I think he's Hall of Famer.
You think he's Hall of Fame?
With the Finals MVP.
And that
Plus you go college,
that
too.
Finals MVP is one of the biggest travesties.
Oh, it is. But
Guy won a Finals MVP for holding LeBron to like 30,
35
10, and
again.
10. Like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, LeBron cooked him the whole series and
Like,
won.
Curry not having a Finals MVP right now is a travesty.
Yeah, that is wild. I looked at.
That first one, it should be his. That was his to win. And they gave it to Iguodala for holding LeBron to 35 a game. It's ridiculous.
And LeBron, that was the finals that Kevin Love got hurt first game right, and Kyrie
Yes,
was already
that
out.
was why, because he just went. He had to do it all
Hey.
by himself.
LeBron scores 40, 15, and 10. They probably win.
Yeah, whatever. All right, what else? That was good. That's been good sports discussion.
Sports talk.
Good sports talk.
Yeah. NBA playoffs have been. It's I gotta say the entertainment.
So the NFL draft.
We have an ad.
Yes. What?
Do the ad.
We have an ad. I'll do the ad right now. You know what?
Yeah.
No, I won't. I forgot you're back.
I'll read ads all day. Cuts Clothing has spent years perfecting men's T-shirts, taking look good, feel good to a whole new level. Right out of college, Cuts founder and CEO Stephen Brelli got a job at an agency with a casual dress code. But his first week, he was told his shirt was too athleisure-y, whatever that means. He searched all over for a presentable and stylish tee, but he could not find any that fit the bill. So he decided to solve the problem himself, designing a premium T-shirt that could be worn anywhere, on or off the clock. These shirts are made to last. Ditch the fast fashion brands and invest in Cuts. They have tons of great colors and styles, crew necks, Henleys, long sleeves. There's something for everyone. Refresh your wardrobe in time for summer with Cuts. See for yourself why Cuts is one of the fastest growing men's brands with over 1 million shirts sold. And you can get 15% off your first order by going to cutsclothing.com/picks. That's cutsclothing.com/picks.
Are we wearing the same shoes?
Me and you?
Different colors.
Yeah.
Those are the same shoes.
Close.
I think they're the exact same shoe.
Similar, yeah.
No, I think they're the exact same fucking shoe.
What's your tongue say?
Nike Air Max.
What's his say?
But mine are way steezier.
Way
but
cooler, yeah.
These are not way steezier. Mine are maroon. That's a
Yeah.
classic,
Yeah.
beautiful
Maroon's an
color.
awful color.
Facts.
You're an awful color.
I would never go to a college that had maroon.
You would never go to college. I don't even know what that meant. You went to
I have a
Ohio
degree.
State.
He went to college for more years than all of us combined.
That's true.
I was angry.
Got this one
Mincy
here.
actually got it. Mincy might have me beat.
NFL draft. Is this a weak draft, or is this considered a weak draft because there are no quarterbacks?
I think it's a
The latter.
strong. Yeah, I think it's strong everywhere but quarterback. Or not everywhere, but some other like.
Stephen
lineman.
Chase mock draft 5.0 said this is a weak draft.
There's
And
a report that 15 guys are rated as first-round picks.
across the board by all
Yeah,
teams.
like low. Like guys are like, all right, we'll take him in the.
But I didn't realize, and Che corrected this. He said normally that number is between 18 and 24. It's never 32.
No, that's probably
I can
them
see that.
also being cute too. But yeah, whatever.
Well, that's when you see, like, when you see 25 to 32, you see some teams trading back up and getting a guy they think's a first rounder, whereas the team that has the pick doesn't think they are.
Right,
So,
yeah.
I got to thinking about this. I think it is a strong draft, especially it's strong in the trenches, it's strong on the edges with tackles, both pass protectors and pass rushers. It's strong there, but quarterback, no interesting quarterbacks, and even the ones that are going to go first round, like Malik Willis, is not a big time.
Yeah, somebody's going to reach though.
He's not as big time a prospect as we've had in recent years.
Somebody's
Neither is
gonna reach.
Kenny Pickett. I got to thinking, and I saw this on Twitter the other day. The weakest draft in recent memory. Do you guys remember the 2013 NFL draft?
Was that with Lane Johnson?
I saw this. I saw this the other day.
Talked about him first time in a long time.
Yeah, well, he's a very good player.
Yeah.
He's probably, if you had that draft tomorrow, he might be the number one.
Oh, well,
I
there was
remember
there was a couple because I looked
He was
down.
the third tackle taken. I remember.
Yeah, and he was taking four.
Jokel and Fisher.
It was he was the fourth overall pick. Correct?
Yeah,
He was the
DeAndre
third
Hopkins
tackle.
was in that draft, and there was a couple other that
He was a second round.
It wasn't the first round. That's okay.
Yeah.
Can I see that? I sent you this graphic. I don't know if you saw that. Look at this. This is the first round of the 2013 NFL draft.
Bingo.
Shout out EJ Manuel.
Fisher, Jokel, Deion Jordan, Lane Johnson. That's a player.
Justin
Milner.
Pugh and
Anson's
James
been-
along with good careers though.
Anson's been a
The
player, right?
Giants actually did okay. I mean,
Austin never put it together. Dean Milner was a disaster for the Jets.
Even the ones that have had decent careers are just
Manuel.
decent. Like
Maybe Rhodes.
Mingo's been okay. Anson's been
pretty
okay.
bad.
Lane Johnson definitely the best player.
Kenny Vaccaro.
Yeah, he's had a
Didn't
Honestly, you
Eifert got
Travis
hurt a
Frederick.
lot for the Bengals.
Oh yeah,
He was a big
Iker
name
was,
out of
was
Notre
a
Dame.
borderline bust.
Yeah,
Xavier Rhodes had a decent run.
damn, dude.
But all these are decent.
long?
Like
So what would you redraft? Lane 1?
I think
Like Lane Pugh, how long?
no. I think Hopkins might go one.
Yeah.
I think Hopkins, Lane, and then
It's bad. God, this is bad.
I think you would trade down even in a redraft if you had like the fourth pick.
I guess. Onset,
There were a couple. There
Onset had
were a couple
decent run.
second, third, and fourth round picks.
I'm sure there are, but
That's the one you talk about, like people, franchises knowing what they're doing, going back to Jordan and Bird, and like you start seeing in a draft, the Patriots keep trading down, the Steelers keep trading. Teams who know what they're doing, like, and you're reaching for a guy, you definitely going the
guess
wrong way.
In their,
Cordell
in
Patterson's
their,
been a good player.
in their
That's
defense,
late.
they like Patriots, Steelers, Ravens. Like you talk about trading down, they also have an established quarterback for decades.
All right, they don't have to worry
They don't have
about
to-
The
Yeah.
Bills, I remember EJ Manuel had a 4th round grade, and then they took him 16th overall. I remember that was just. I mean, obviously they got it right now.
Is he the only? Yeah, he's the only quarterback in that first
Yeah.
round. Isn't
No.
he? You talk about a bad quarterback draft.
Maybe the worst of all time.
Oof. I think that when it's all said and done, this one won't be that bad, but this one's a poor quarterback draft. It's a poor one now, and I think it'll be poor in 5 and 10 years. I just don't see who breaks through.
I mean, I remember.
my bad.
I was EJ Manuel. So I remember I believe he still was under Jimbo at that time. Even Jimbo was like not co-signing him.
yeah,
They still picked him in the first round.
Yeah.
And your own head coach, who's like a quarterback guy, is like, I don't know about this guy.
Imagine
Jesus.
this particular year. It's 2013, right? And Jimbo is about to go from EJ Manuel to this redshirt freshman that nobody's seen before, and he knows what's coming.
This guy's so much better.
He's like, I just had a first round pick, and then I got this guy coming. And it was Jameis Winston.
Also, Eric Fisher, not the best tackle, probably the 4th best tackle in that draft,
But
a Pro Bowl,
A good career.
He
Yeah.
has solid
Super
career.
Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Which is interesting too, because when did Allen go 4th of the? When did he go of the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
His draft.
He went
Third,
7th
third,
overall,
third,
right?
Third.
Third. That's what I'm saying. So
Third.
the Bills to get Allen, third of those guys, and
It
he
was Mayfield, Trubisky. Am I getting it
No,
wrong?
Mayfield, Darnold.
Yeah.
Mayfield, Darnold.
Darnold,
Then,
I think, was
then Allen, then
Allen
Rosen,
was
then Lamar Jackson.
I remember reading in the papers here the Jets were like all in on there was another quarterback. Yeah, Rosen. They were all in on
Rosen went 10th.
all of them except Allen. And my dad was reading. It was like, guarantee Allen's the best out of this, simply because the Jets are wrong on everything.
Barstool Chicago's draft this week was really weird, but it was players you thought would be good, didn't end up good, but no bust.
Maybe
no bust rule
is on that list.
Is weird, but I thought Josh Rosen was going to be a fucking stud.
Wasn't he the greatest high school quarterback of all time?
He was huge, and then at UCLA, he was always the next guy, and he was fine at UCLA, but he never really got to this level. But when he came in the league, and remember when he was a first-round pick for teams 3 years in a row? He was a first-round pick for whoever.
He went to Arizona, and then
they traded him for they traded him to the Dolphins, and they traded him to somebody else.
Where's he at now?
I think he's out of the league.
He's got to be a backup.
I think he was with Atlanta last year.
Josh Rosen?
That's how bad he was behind Felipe Franks in the depth chart.
Wow.
I think so, yeah.
At that draft, I was all in on Tavon Austin.
Dude, he was
unbelievable. I'm still a believer that if he was used correctly, he could have been really good. I still think that.
He could have been Cordell Patterson.
Him and their wide receiver core was him and Stedman Bailey.
Yeah.
They were fucking
He still is my favorite high school highlight tape.
Oh, unbelievable.
I still lean Noel Devine, but
a lot of people say that. I'm telling you, Tavon Austin, it's an 8-minute video. He doesn't get tackled.
I wish. We don't live in a world where we can watch high school highlight videos, do we? Talking to TJ.
Pull up.
They all have music.
Pull up Mike Hart's right now. You would think that he's skipping Michigan.
Michigan running back?
Yeah, skipping Michigan, going to the NFL, and becoming God.
I remember the white guy, the white running back who went to Michigan for a little bit, and then he went to Rice. Sam McGuffey. It was a white running back that had an incredible. He went to Michigan, and he wasn't good enough. Is it Guffey or McGuffey or something?
McGuffey. No, Ari was tweeting about it.
Look at
shout out Cody.
Who was it? Oakman from Baylor.
Sean Oakman.
Sean Oakman.
Well, he was. He was the meme guy though too, right?
Yeah, I know. You think he was making college?
Isn't Darnell Dockett has a crazy one too?
Davion Clowney has some that are just absurd.
Oakman in high school, and I know this because he played my former high school. They just sent him out there alone as captain.
Where was he from?
Southeastern PA.
Oh, really? He's not from Texas?
No, he was at Penn State and transferred to Baylor. Right?
I just always assumed he was
that's
from
right.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Transferred to Baylor.
They just sent him out alone as captain.
You just know he showed up to practice one day. I'm the captain now.
Pretty much.
Coach was like, "Yes, sir."
What do you want to do today, Sean? By the way, the draft got me thinking, and this was just a real quick aside. Who do you guys think are the top 5 favorites to win the Super Bowl in the Barstool Sportsbook? Who is the number 1 favorite to win the Super Bowl in the Barstool Sportsbook right now? Who can answer that question?
Chiefs, right?
That is incorrect.
I'm going to say the LA Rams.
Well, you're going to say incorrectly.
The Bills?
The Bills are plus 650 to win the Super Bowl right now, followed by
Still nice.
Followed by who?
Bucks.
That is correct. Bucks plus 750, then followed by a 10-1 the Packers and the Chiefs.
Packers.
Followed by the
Packers have to be up there. I'm not buying.
Why though?
Yeah,
Who's he throwing to? Who's he throwing to?
Lazard.
You see they're trying to make a trade for
We're always
Waller?
going to put him up there.
Who?
Did you see so I was
Waller?
reading that they apparently initially the trade they tried to make for the Adams was basically send Adams.
Wait.
It was Waller and the 20. I'm trying to think. It was something where it was Adams or Waller and a pick for Adams.
Yeah.
And apparently that somehow the league or something nixed it. It was weird.
It is what you just said just triggers me. They traded Adams to the Raiders, and now they're trying to get Waller.
And that's
they would have had to make that work.
It's so confusing because now apparently they are trying to trade for Waller, but they'd have to give Waller a contract. Obviously, it'd be less than Adams, but still, you're going to give a receiving threat a big contract
that you wouldn't give to Adams.
Why don't you just give it to your guy? I mean, I don't. I'm sure. I mean,
I just don't see how the Packers are 10-1 when Rodgers has proven he can't really. Not really very good in the playoffs.
I think they still got to be in that top-ish because they're going to win the division. They're going to be there.
But
they're going to lose
above the Rams?
No, I disagree with that for sure. But
were the Packers in the mix on Tyreek Hill?
No, it was. By the time we found out that Tyreek Hill was available,
it was the Jets-Dolphins.
It was the Jets-Dolphins. Remember, we found out at 9 o'clock in the morning. He was traded at noon,
without a doubt. But wouldn't the Packers, whatever.
But it
seems like somebody to start making Rodgers happy.
You would think they would at least get in the mix for Debo.
Yeah, what do y'all think
DK
about
Metcalf?
The
I'd be.
Yeah, DK Metcalf would be. But I mean, Debo, you got to use Debo the right way.
See, the problem is they'd have to give Debo the contract that they just didn't want to give to Adams.
I think you could get away with giving Debo a little bit less though.
I don't know, because someone made a good point today about the Jets like trading for him, where what you're gonna pay. So they have the Jets with the 4th and 10th pick. You say even it's at 4.
Yeah.
Like say it's like 20, 25 million they got to give him. You could give a rookie guy that for 4 seasons, or give it to Debo for 1 year, like per year.
Yeah, I don't know.
When you think about it like that, I mean, it's like you almost like just take a shot on like one of these.
But if Debo's out there to be had, and he's more overt about it, and DK Metcalf is out there to be had, if I want a pure receiving threat, I think I'd try to go get DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
I think if you have Zach Wilson, I think Metcalf is probably who you prefer.
Yeah, like people are calling for Debo to get traded to Philly and go after him hard. It's like we would use him in the exact role.
Do you have a quarterback that?
We have a running back that can throw.
I know, but like.
Niners have Lance. Too.
Would investing in a high-end receiver be smart for Philly? Like I feel like
If it's DK Metcalf over a period of time, yeah.
with the next quarterback is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Possibly. Unless like you made the identity of the Philadelphia Eagles a straight defense running attack.
And now listen,
Which I would be fine
and
with.
if you were going to do that, you would need physical receivers, and DK is one of those as well. So fair enough. He's a big pussy, and he has bad decision-making skills, but he's not a bad football player.
Looks good shirtless.
I heard the Chiefs were sniffing
Aren't we
around
all?
DK, which would be interesting.
The Chiefs?
Yeah, I've heard that.
For who?
DK. Trying to sniff around him to replace Tyreek and a different.
But I imagine the same suspects are sniffing around all the receivers, right? I mean, the Chiefs.
It's teams that are a piece away, or
So I think the problem is right
where
now, like
can you go and win? Where can you go and be fun? Where can I have a great quarterback throw to me?
The receiver class is just so deep in the draft.
And it's the 3rd deep receiver class in a row.
They're just receivers.
It's wild. Yeah.
But see, the problem is
young though.
You're going to get good guys in the second round.
Guys can matter. Receivers used to take 3 years. Now they can matter in the first year. Jamar Chase was one of the best receivers in the league in the first year. Now
See
he's
about Jefferson, like a bunch of Waddle was great last year. A bunch of guys.
all right. Picks.
You have any doubt on Wilson and Olave?
No, not really.
Like you think they're bona
They're
fide
just
stars?
polished guys. They're fast. Like they just.
I think Olave more polished than Wilson, but both.
Wilson probably is more like ceiling. Wilson's ceiling's probably a little. He's just big time athlete.
Okay. Picks. Rico Bosco continues to lead, although he did take a step back last night. Smitty finally got up off the mat for the first time in a while and got out of last place. Marty's in last place.
I had two
it's
wild
three-horse
pushes
battle,
last
though.
night. Mets push went against me, crazy, and I got the homer grand slam for the
I think
Toronto.
it's a 2-horse race, but there's a 3rd horse that's at least in striking distance.
Ev could get hot.
Ev could get hot, and you guys could go stagnant. Rico, lead us off.
All right, we got the 2-minute runs on Tuesday parlay. I got the hit parade, which Jack will price soon. I'm on the Royals money line as my dog of the day. The best bet is Musgrove over 5.5 Ks. This Reds team is pitiful. He struck out 7 the last time he faced the Reds. I love Musgrove's over, and I'm going to take the Tigers money line plus 115.
Zach Levine has entered health and safety protocols.
Series is over.
Yep. Ben Minch, you haven't been here in a while. Why don't you go next?
All right, we're gonna go. No surprise, taking the Pels. It's up to 7. Well, it's 6.5 when I turned it in. I'm taking the money line too. I just believe they got a lot of momentum, and over 2-1's a big price. I do think the Grizz bounce back, and I take the Heat -7 because I think that series is done.
And I agree that series is done. That's why I've got the Heat. I've turned it in at -7.5 this morning. But I like the 2 underdogs in the other games. I like Wolves plus 6.5, and I like the Pelicans plus 6.5. 2-2 series. I think there'll be 2 wars tonight. I don't see 6.5 points separation in either game. Big Ev.
I got the Marlins say Sandy Alcantara on the mound. I'm on the Tigers money line, and I'm on the Cardinals. I can't shake it.
You bet the Cardinals every day.
I can't shake it.
Cardinals should have won.
You know why? It's that run they had last year.
Fuck,
where they just
that's
won
exactly what
like
it is.
We also, me and Big Ev went to the a Cubs game in Wrigley last year, and who'd we see? The Cardinals. And the Cardinals just hit bombs that night. Never since then.
I just bet the Cardinals in the over. And
They won the what 20 games in a row last year?
Yeah,
that was in that mix.
I was on every game.
Mets got a little lucky last night, but the Mets have no quit. They're a very good team.
That's
So
a
probably
good baseball
also
team.
the hit parade as well.
Thank you, Akeem.
Probably going to play the Grizzlies. I'll play NBA. I'm still working through my NBA.
You stand up in a minute and yell, in the face. There he is.
That's,
Oh, wow.
I had that jacket as a kid.
There he is. That's Akeem. Does it just get you the hat, a little bit?
All right.
I love New York. All right, Smitty.
Making a late month run here tonight. Compliments of the
Jesus
A's.
Christ.
Fucking Christ.
A lot of strikeout props. Strikeout props did great last year with my analytics. We're trusting the data. Bring it back this year. I'm trying to think of a name for it.
I like how TJ just got tired of looking up the numbers and just put U and O.
Yeah.
Here's the one I really like. NBA, NHL, MLB, Moneyline Parlay plus 1103. Fill in the blanks yourself.
Heats, Grizzlies, Pens, Canucks, Maple Leafs, Yankees, Phillies, Moneyline Parlay. That'll be out there. But the K's props, they do well. I just need a name for it that won't associate myself with like a rally at Ole Miss in the 60s. So
You mean in the 2010s. So I love that. Just pick your favorite NBA, NHL, and MLB team, parlay them, and it'll
all adds
price at 1103. Good luck to you.
Price.
All right, that was fun sports talk, boys. The Yak is up next.
Like an essay question on a test. Just, like,
What three
describe
teams
yourself.
would add up to
It's open-ended, folks.
As
As
a
many
parlay.
answers.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow. The Yak is up next.